Okay, hey everybody, I'm live. I'm apparently live on YouTube as well, so I've got the multiple cameras going. I have not done this live before on multiple things. Okay, so we're going fast and furious here on TikTok, and then if you're on YouTube, I don't think there's anybody on there yet, but anyway, you can also follow me on YouTube if you'd rather watch there. I've never done a live there, so like everybody bear with me with the both, and I may just shut the YouTube one off in a minute if it's weird. I'm also going to bring this other mic in because I think I'm supposed to have it for YouTube. Okay. Anyway, hi, we got a roster. Let's talk about it. So I think obviously the big thing that everybody and their brother is going to want to talk about is no Alex Morgan. Lynn making the alternates list, that was very surprising to me. I did not see that coming, frankly. So, but it happened. Great to see Lynn on there. A bit disappointed about Corbin being on there. I can understand that. And I think a lot of people are with you. I don't think it's a huge surprise at this point. No, Alex. Yeah. So, when I built all my roster predictions, I had her really on kind of the bubble of the last three. She did not appear to be picking up the new system as fast as other folks were. Like Sophia Smith picking up Emma Hayes' system that fast really put Alex Morgan at a disadvantage. The problem is I still think you have a little bit of a lack of depth at the 9 without Alex Morgan, but if she really wasn't picking it up, then like you can't bring her there. And I don't think it makes sense to bring a veteran of that caliber as an alternate. I think it's honestly a little disrespectful to them, and just creates a weird locker room vibe. So, that's where that's at. Who are the alternates? Yeah, the alternates were not in the video. The video was fun, by the way. If you didn't watch the video, like I actually deeply enjoyed the video. But yeah, so the alternates are Hal Hirschfeld, Croy Bethune, Jane Campbell, and Lynn Williams. So the alternates are fun. I think those are really good alternates. I think that the alternates were probably shaped more by what we saw the last couple weeks with injury than anything else. Like you needed an alternative to Sam Coffey. So I think that was really important. Oh, Christian, I see you in the YouTube chat. Quick question. Do the alternates play for the July friendlies because you have tickets? So maybe. I'm not sure. I think they are eligible for that. I don't know how much time they'll get because it'll really be about solidifying that. Let's see. Hype for Lynn as an alternate. Didn't expect her to be there. Really glad she is. Yes, agreed. So how do the alternates work? So I thought that you were locked in once the first match starts. You are, but you can swap after the first match in the event there has been a catastrophic injury and the person cannot come back. So like heaven forbid an ACL tear or some type of concussion that prevents them from coming back and playing. But you have to be 100% sure that person's not going to be viable again. Who is the biggest surprise to me on YouTube? Marcy, thanks for the question. The biggest surprise to me is probably that we got both Jaden and Rose Lavelle. I did not think we were getting both. I really didn't, because it just didn't make sense. And then I think the alternates were a little bit surprising. I would have thought Andy Sullivan over Hal Hirschfeld just for experience reasons. Social issues aside, I feel like Croy and Hal could run circles around Corbin. I don't disagree with you on that. I think some of it is just time under tension and who's been in this program. So, when we were throwing spaghetti at the wall, Hal Hirschfeld and Croy Bethune were not necessarily on the radar. They weren't in those earlier camps. I think if they get called into like the February, Gold Cup run, different story, but they weren't. And at this point, you can't really keep tinkering when you've got pieces that work. And I think that they are both upgrades over Corbin Albert in this midfield going forward. Yes. Do I think Lily Johannes is an upgrade? Absolutely. But some of this is the spaghetti throwing in earnest stopped in April. So you kind of got to go with the pieces that work. And there are things about this that look good. So let's see. Do I think this is the beginning and the end for Alex on the national team? Yes, I do. I do not think you see her. No. Alex is. I don't see Alex coming back to the national team. Frankly, I think this would have been her last run anyway. I've long said I think she'll stay in San Diego longer than she's, doing the U.S. Women's National Team. So let's see. Do I think this was the reason Alex had an excused absence last game? I don't think so. But it could be. Somebody said she was at a funeral. I haven't seen it substantiated, but I did see that in the comments. Thoughts on Croy? I'm thrilled. She's there. She's in the building. Like, amazing. Like, that's great. And if anybody is like poised to, unfortunately, if somebody gets injured, like come in and then just like light shit up, it's her. It's going to be great. Thoughts on Lynn as an alternate? I'm happy for her. I really am. She brings so much to the table. And I think that I will say I'm quite surprised just given her omission from the June camp. I really didn't think you even had a shot at being an alternate if you weren't at the June camp. So I'm a little bit surprised but happy to see it. Read that Alex Morgan's ankle has been bothering her again. Could be. Ankles are very finicky. They are. If that's your injury, like, and you know this, because ankles were kind of my bugaboo, if you will. You rush them back too quick, and then you got to pull back, and it's a whole dance. So the first time I did my ankle, I pressed it too hard and came back after 3 weeks because we needed bodies for a tournament. And I was off and on for like 12 weeks, whereas the same weekend I injured my ankle, another gal broke her ankle, and she was back playing at full speed before I was consistently. So that was fun. Let's see. Shaw can play the 9. Can she? I mean, she can. We can all do a lot of things, but I don't think it's her best use case. I really don't. On YouTube, Marcy asks, do we think we will lose Lily to the Netherlands? No, I don't think so. I mean, even Lindsay Horan is like commenting on it. I think we're good. Let's see. Who is our backup for Soph? I think it's rotating Mal through. Putting Jaden in is probably correct. That's probably your best backup. I don't love it. And I don't think we have great options. So, let's see. How has Dunn been at the forward position leading up to the roster spot? I think she's been good. I thought she did well playing. She plays more of the wide spot. She's not going to play centrally. But she's just so versatile. It would be a massive, I think, roster construction mistake not to bring her. Will Lavelle get any starts? I don't know. I do think that Emma Hayes prefers Kat Macario. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so I'm getting a question on YouTube about Emma Hayes and her comment on players' relationships, and also not really being bothered about Corbin's comments. You know, I think Emma Hayes is not always the most artful when she speaks on things. Like, I do think she walked back the player relationship stuff, but it was a very foot and mouth thing. I think she just kind of met those dynamics to navigate, but it did not come across well. The stuff with Corbin, I don't really know what to tell you anymore. I don't know that I have a satisfying answer. There are people who very much, and I think understandably, are quite upset by her continued inclusion. And then there are other folks who are more of she's part of the team and we'll see how it goes. I think ultimately where I kind of come down on this, not that I don't know that you fully asked this, but it's a workplace. And I don't know that in a workplace, I fully expect my colleagues to, be where I'm at on just human rights issues, frankly. But I do expect them to not run their mouths about it and make it uncomfortable for people. So if that's, as long as she's doing that, it's not ideal. So anyway, let's see. All right. I thought Trin's comments on Corbin were because they knew she was on the roster. Yeah, I completely agree with that. They knew she was on the roster. Like, listen, these decisions to us are news. I have no doubt these decisions were made weeks ago. I have no doubt that they have already, everybody here has already been notified. It's not like they're just finding out. Thoughts on Emily Fox? I love Emily Fox. I'm a gunner. Like, I love her inclusion. So, let's see. A starting backline for me is going to be Fox, Germa, Davidson, and it's going to, it'll be nice longer, but nice longer makes me a little nervous still. So, but I think she's good for the low block, which we'll probably have to deal with. So, no, excuse me. Let's see. Thoughts on Jane listed as forward, not midfield? It's not my favorite. I think she's not going to get a lot of time, to be honest. So, stop left off thoughts. I had her in all my kind of mocks as being right on the bubble, and it was really a decision on where did you want extra depth. And ultimately Emily Sonnet is there to provide the backup center back position role, and she can also play obviously as a 6. So Emily Sonnet is going to provide you depth there. I think they're a little bit more worried about Sam Coffey than they are about losing either of the two center backs, because Hal Hirschfeld got an alternate spot. So I think that's just really what that says. That's, I think, the change. For me, that's the thing that I think has changed the most over the last 2 weeks is what's happened. Would they do a retirement game for Alex? I think, folks, we are probably past the era of send-off games. I just think we are. It's not super common outside of the women's game, frankly. And, I mean, it happens sometimes, but, even if you look at, so Sweden's Zlatan just had, a send-off. But he came back. It wasn't like he was playing. It was just he kind of waved at people. And that's a little more common because I think people's trajectories within national team programs are less linear. And, you will see players who were absolute rock stars for national teams, continue to play professionally, but not be making a national team roster. So I think that that's really where we're at with the U.S. women's national team. So, okay. Strongest, weakest thing with this roster. I am concerned about depth at the 9. I am. So, but, if Alex Morgan was not picking up the new system, does not make sense to waste a body. That's an extra spot on the bench where you could provide depth somewhere else. So I have to think she just was not picking it up, or something else is going on. There's rampant speculation, but there could be something else. I don't know. Let's see. All right. Do I think Rodman can play the 9 if needed? I think Rodman would be a great 9. I'm frankly surprised more people haven't tried it. But I think she would have to learn a few more skill sets. Like I don't know that she's really learned hold up play particularly. Like I haven't seen it demonstrated, but I have no doubt she'd kill it. So, will they play 4-3-3? Yes, but it'll look more like a 5. It'll look more like a 3-5-2 in possession, or even a 2, 2-5-4. Sorry, a 2-5-3 almost. So let's see. People are speculating Morgan declined an alternate spot. I can see that. I don't think they offered it to her. Frankly, I think that there was probably, I don't know if it's a decline, but I think it's a conversation of like, would you want to go as an alternate? I don't see, but at the same time, it's like if you even have that conversation, you put her in that position. And I think it is an uncomfortable position. She's 35. She's been a veteran and star of this team. Do you bring her as an alternate? I just don't think you really can. It's a weird vibe. Like even the humblest and like most, gung-ho like team person is gonna have a hard time with that, like ego-wise. I don't know who's not gonna struggle with that. So let's see. She didn't post anything about the Wave versus Houston this weekend, didn't travel. Yeah, but she had, we'll see what happens. Like, because this is going to be a story, right? Like, people are going to be reporting on it. Emma Hayes has media availability in like 5 more minutes. She's going to get asked about Alex Morgan. She's going to get asked about that conversation. So we'll have answers on this pretty imminently. I know you love Sanchez. A lot of people love her. I think she'll have a shot at getting looks later. So, do I think Campbell's form deserved more than an alternate start? No, I don't. Look, she's at Houston, so she gets more shots taken on her. But, no, I still think I prefer Murphy, personally. And then there, you can't not. Who do I think's the starting lineup? Where can you watch Emma Hayes' interview, and then I'll go back to the starting lineup? I do not know, but I think Twitter will have a lot of folks who are giving you the quotes as they come. That's where I would check. So the dash sheet. Listen, they're getting better, but like as the goalkeeper for the Houston Dash, you have a lot of opportunities to show off your skill set. Okay. I think the center back situation is probably fine. I think that tells you a lot about where Tierney Davidson and Naomi Germa are with their own health troubles, because I think if anybody was at all nervous about this, they would be bringing Sam Scott, but they're not. Okay, Alex posted on Twitter. Well, what did she say? I got this going live. I guess I could search on the web here or something. Abby D thoughts. I think Abby's time with the program is probably coming to an end. Which honestly, like when she had the surgery she had, like I didn't think she was playing again. Like it's that kind of surgery where you're like, they're gonna let you run around, and like she still is doing pretty well for San Diego Wave. But this program, you've got a whole new era coming in. If you're going to, you don't bring in like, you just don't really like bring in people who are starting, who are now kind of on the decline to like build as backups. You're going to start building in younger backups. Like that's just how development works. Okay, today I'm disappointed about not having an opportunity to represent the country. Okay, that's from Alex's Twitter. All right, thank you y'all for giving me that. Is Sam Coffey not injured anymore? I think that was all very precautionary. I don't think she was ever as injured as it looked. I think that Portland Thorns probably received a phone call that was like, this might be our most important player for the Olympics. Please don't do it. Let's see. Okay, I saw thoughts on Aslani to LCL, which that's a wild one, and I want to do a whole other video. I like it. I think it's fun. Michelle has the money, like, and she gets to like, because what's Aslani gonna do now? I mean, she's got a high price point, but like none of the teams that are in contention for stuff are gonna pay her. But like London City Lionesses will pay her to go get them promoted. Like hell yeah, let's do it. Okay. Alex said she's disappointed, but excited to cheer them on. Great. Love that. That is the appropriate response. Oh, Tiffany, thank you for the rose. I appreciate that. Will Shaw see any minutes in the 10? I hope so. but I'm not optimistic based on the way this announcement went. Biggest competitor in the group. I don't know, because Australia's a little depleted right now. Australia hasn't really scared me. It's probably Germany, but they just haven't had their shit together in a minute. They just don't worry me either. Let's see. Starting midfield predictions, Coffee, Haran, and Macario. I think that lineup you saw against South Korea, the first match, that's your starting lineup. I don't think that's a secret. I think it's with Nair, of course, in goal. So, yeah, that was Gurma, Davidson center backs, and then Nice Longer out left, Fox on the right, Sam Coffey. Was Sam Coffey? Yeah, no, Sam Coffey playing in the defensive mid. Lindsay Haran, and then Kat Macario, and then Mal Swanson with Trin and Sophia. So I think there's an argument it's Rose Lavelle and not Kat Macario, but I think Emma Hayes really likes Kat Macario, and honestly though, like with her set piece service, I'm not sad to see it. She's not my favorite 10. I think I've been pretty vocal about that, but she does allow. I think she works with Haran a little bit better than Lavelle or Shaw do, frankly. And if you're that committed to Haran, I think you need to make sure that you can use her appropriately. Do you think Rose is better than Katz? Yes, I do. Let's see. Could Lavelle play the 9? Absolutely not. No. Happy for Kruger. I am too. She looks good. I'm happy for her. With Patry back on Spain, what do you think about that all Barcelona midfield? I'm scared, man. I mean, like, she's kind of... I'm going to be really curious to... spend some more time in the coming weeks thinking a little bit about how that Spain-Japan matchup's going to go now, because she really shores up a lot of the transitional issues there. Because I think Japan could take Spain again, or like just tactically. But now with Patry, I'm not really sure. I think that she solidifies a lot there for them. And no Junendo for Japan is a problem. Let's see. Can I read the roster again? Sure. All right. Goalkeepers. It's Alyssa Nair and Casey Murphy. And by the way, I'm not reading it. I'm just doing it from memory because this is where we're at this morning. So if I missed anything, buddy, tell me. Defenders, Nice Wonger, Gurma, Davidson, Fox, Kruger, Sonnet. They're classifying Sonnet as a defender, so that tells you where they kind of see the gaps that need to be filled. Midfield, it's Haran, Coffey, Albert, Macario, and Lavelle. Again, they're not classifying Shaw or Dunn as midfielders, so that kind of tells you something too. And then forwards, it's Swanson, Smith, Rodman, Dunn, and Shaw. So that's the roster. So let's see. Thoughts on Alex Morgan? I thought she was going to squeak in there. I understand her not being in as an alternate. That makes sense to me, just because I think a player of that, caliber, and really a player who's has that kind of legacy of the program, I don't think it's really a great spot to take them as an alternate. It's just a weird ego thing. I think it would be hard for even the humblest of players. I'm not super. What her being left off tells me is she was not picking up the new stuff that Emma Hayes was giving her, and frankly, Sophia Smith picked up very, very quickly. So if we don't really have a lot of depth at the 9 for this tournament, it would only make sense to not take another 9 if that person who's the other 9 was not really vibing with it. So. And you didn't really feel like that was a viable extra option. So I think that's kind of where that's at. I understand disappointing for her. And it's been kind of an interesting vacillation. Oh, thank you for the heart, Kelly. I believe Anderson. It's cut off at Anders. So if I got the back part of that wrong, let me know. So let's see. Will the team go full throttle against Mexico or treat it like a send off? I think they're gonna go on that one. I do. I think we're going to be gaining some momentum. The plane's taking off. Did I see Corbin Albert's jersey reached over $4,000? Oh, thank you, Ramblewood. Appreciate it. This is a fun look for me. So let's see. I saw that. I love it. I almost bid on it myself because I thought that was a fun thing. Do you think Corbin has a long-term future with the U.S. Women's National Team? I don't know. I don't. And it's like setting aside, the transphobia and homophobia and all that, setting that aside. I think there are better midfielders. And they just weren't the ones that had visibility to get into the program faster. So we will see if she holds on to her spot there. I think she's got to be aware that you've got now folks who have had breakout NWSL seasons. who are absolutely going to get looks and more time after the Olympics. Then you've got Lily Johannes, frankly, breathing down her neck, who does something very different and I think much better. So let's see. When are the friendlies? July 13th, and I believe the 16th? There's the 13th is Mexico. Let's see. Can I explain the alternates? Sure. So there's 4 alternates: Jane Campbell, Croy Bethune, Hal Hirschfeld, and Lynn Williams. So the 4 alternates will travel with the team. They're there. They cannot swap an alternate once the first game starts unless there's been a catastrophic injury of some type, such that you are certain another player is not coming back to play at any point during the rest of the tournament. So, I think that the alternates, that's kind of where, if anything changed in the last, since June, it's the alternates, because that's about providing depth where you have injury trouble and things you're worried about. So, I think Hal Hirschfeld's inclusion is a nod to a little bit of concern with Sam Coffey. Although I, again, don't think Sam Coffey was nearly as injured as it looked like. I just think she's very important and we don't have a ton of depth there, really. So that's kind of why I think she's there. Croy, I think, provides depth for Rose Glass Lavelle. So, which is nice. And then Lynn Williams, obviously veteran depth who can come in and I think gap fill in a lot of different places. She can pretty much play any of the wides. I really do think she could actually play outside back just fine. Not that she's ever historically had to do it, but I think she'd be great at it. So she provides you a little bit of depth that way as well. Let's see. Do I think this roster could beat Spain? Maybe. Yeah, I do. I think it'll be hard, but I do. Let's see. I don't think Alex is coming back to the national team. I'll say that. I don't. Why? She's not going to make the next Olympics. She's too old. Or sorry, not the next Olympics. She's not going to make the 2027 World Cup. She's not going to make the next Olympics either, right? And it's clearly a rebuilding time. So why would you be wasting spots and cap space on that at this point? If you've got other options you need to develop, and if anybody comes in and says veteran presence, I get it. But at this point, you have other people who are veterans. They are just younger than what you thought they were. Like Crystal Dunn is a veteran. Lindsay Horan is a veteran. Rose Lavelle is a veteran now, 100 caps. This is not, these people that in our brains are still youth in the team. They're not youth in the team anymore. They are also veterans. So it happens. Love Alex Morgan. I really thought she was squeaking onto this roster. But, now that she didn't, I think that's probably it. What are you most worried about? Defense, midfield, or forwards? I'm most worried about the midfield. If something happens to Sam Coffey, I think that's a nervy situation for me. But I do not think she was as injured as she looks. But you just never know, because something else can happen separately. Let's see. Oh, breakout star. Cat can play the 9. I can answer that real quick. Breakout star prediction. I think it's probably going to be, I think this is going to be Sophia Smith's true international scene breakout. I'll predict that. I think this is going to be it. Let's see. Thank you to Chaos for the Rose. Appreciate you. Is Mal a veteran? Not yet. She's close though. Even though she's really young, she's close. What formation do I expect Emma Hayes to run with? Question off YouTube. And if you're just joining me, I'm on YouTube as well, and I'm here. Although I'm newer to the YouTube stuff, and it looks like we got 26 people over here, which is cool. Although we got 878 on TikTok. So, thank you, Jen, for the tiny diny. Anyway, so apologize for the chaos with the 2 cameras. There's a way to do this with 1 camera, and then I don't have to kind of be half looking at you all. But I started to figure out this morning that it was beyond my depth. So let's see. Are we still playing Zambia? Yeah, so we are still playing Zambia. They had a feud with FIFA, is the best way I can put it. But I have not seen anything to indicate that they're out. Lisa, thank you for the rose. Appreciate you. Okay, who do I think will be captain? It's Haran. People will hand off the armband, right? Because that's Emma Hayes does that, but it's Haran. When Spain is looking at us, what will they capitalize on? So I think when we play Spain, I think we need to frankly take a little bit of different formation. I would like to see a double pivot there against Spain, probably. But if I were Spain, if you're playing them straight up the way I expect us to play, I would be targeting nice longer side all fucking day long. Sorry, that's. If I'm not live, I do curse sometimes in my other videos. I'm like, God, now I sound like Miranda Cosgrove. I like to curse sometimes. Okay. Who would I choose as captain? Dunn. I think Dunn's a great captain. I think the Naomi Gurma captain era is coming. Yeah, Christy Mewis is not like everybody's asking she retiring. I'm like, yeah, man. Like I don't think she's playing much anymore. But anyway. Did I see there are pre-Olympic training players? No. Tell me more about that. Okay, Crystal Dunn's forward thoughts. YouTube is running smoother. Okay, so everybody, just so you all know on TikTok, the YouTube folks are saying this is running much smoother. And I'm seeing more people coming into the comments on here too. So listen, it doesn't matter to me where you go. I don't monetize like what I do monetize on TikTok. If you watch the videos, I get money. But I don't know how monetization really works on YouTube versus here on the lives. Still figuring that out. So if you want to support me, I don't know which one is best to support me. So just do whatever is best for you. Okay, so Crystal Dunn has a forward thoughts. I think that makes sense. She just adds some extra depth there. But obviously, I mean, she's a utility player. I really think they should have just done a separate category that was like utility for hers on it. We just played Kruger instead of Jenna against a team like Spain. I would personally. I would. Okay. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. Can't wait for my lives during the Olympics. We're gonna have a lot of lives, and we may have podcasts and longer form stuff coming. It's the editing is hard, and I have an editor, which is great, which is helping with like the shorter ones. Thank you, Anthony, for the heart. I appreciate you. Okay. Sonia had the game of her life against Sweden last year. Hope she can keep that energy. She will. Listen, she'll come through for you when you need that. Okay. Who would play in the double pivot against Spain? I would honestly bring in the Emily Sonnet Chaos. Give it to me. Give me coffee and Sonnet. I think it'll be fun. Can I post the times for the games? I will, but I will do that closer in. Y'all, if you have not, so the friendlies are one thing. I don't know if you're asking about the friendlies of the Olympics, but I always post them before. The Olympic schedule is like chaotic, so just like PTO that whole morning, it goes from like 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Like there's only a couple days, so do that. Okay. Is only backup for Sam Coffey in case of injury during the tournament. Sonnet or can Corbin play the 6? Corbin can play the 6. I just don't think she does it very well, but she can. Let's see. Do you think we should have another center back? This is a lot on Tierna and Naomi. You have Emily Sonnet because she's playing center back right now with club. So I think that's the thought. Am I worried about the defense? No, I'm not. Will Alex get a final game or send off? I mean, like, y'all, I just think the days of send offs are gone. I think you will continue to see, as there is now like a viable league, I think you will continue to see players who play in the league much longer than their national team career. So, and I think Alex Morgan is one of those. She's talked about like really wanting to make San Diego her home. So I would not be surprised if we've already seen her last. She may get a send off because it's Alex Morgan, but I think for a lot of this kind of vintage of players, that may have been her last game. Maybe she comes in, waves. Maybe she comes out for a minute. But I think this will be, if she does get a send off, this is the last era I see us doing send offs. I really do. Wish you took Carly Lloyd's spot as a sportscaster. Thank you. I wish I did too. Well, I wish many people did. It doesn't have to be me even. Is Alex Morgan staying at Wave? I mean, she's been pretty vocal about wanting to be there long term. But obviously, Wave is that's a whole drama thing, because if you missed Jill Ellis's comments yesterday, I'm not sure what's happening there either. Are alternates allowed to be on the bench? I do not know. They travel with the team. I don't think they get to be on the bench or like warm up or anything, because they cannot swap it in mid-match. How does Olympic stage work? Beat everyone or more of a tournament style? Sure. So Olympics are, it is 3 groups of 4. It is traditional group play. You play every team once. Then the top 2 finishers in each group will advance out of the group, along with the third place finishers in 2 of the 3 groups. I think that's maths, right? Yes. So then you have a quarterfinal, a semifinal, and a final. So it is difficult, objectively, to not advance out of this group. You can advance out. You just gotta give it a little bit of, you can do it. Let's see. Okay, what did Ellis say? Big Wave fan. So she basically said that, because there was a lot of questions about whether the new GM, Cami, who I've seen 3 different last names for now, so I apologize because I don't know her actual last name. But Cami from Kansas City, who likes to transfer players without their consent, there were a lot of questions about whether this was her decision, and Jill Ellis said she didn't have anything to do with it. She just got in this week, and it's that's a little concerning, because as a general manager, you are in charge of personnel decisions as well, including the coach. So you hire a new GM who's under the impression this is one situation they're walking into, and then you fire the coach and you say she's not part of that conversation. Do I think that that's like fully accurate? No, I have a feeling that when they first started talking to Cammy, they're like, listen, like here's kind of what's going on. We're having some struggles. There's a chance we pull, Casey Stoney. And like, I think that conversation was probably had. I think they probably also gave her I think these things were discussed with her. But it just wasn't part of the decision-making process. So I don't think she was like blindsided on it the way other people are speculating. Let's see. Emily Sams. Oh, Emily Sams. I know a lot of you were wanting her in the camps. Alyssa Thompson and Kate Wiesner. Is it Wiesner or Weisner? I always mix that up. Training players. Cool. Emma just said fans should embrace. Emma, that's too far, man. I'm sorry. Like, listen, again, like I said, my personal stance on this, and again, I just want to say, like, I fully support everybody who feels like she should not be able to be on the team at this stage, and that she needs to go do some growth and then come back, that we don't need to see her out here while she's still doing her growth. I get that. And I understand that. So my personal feeling on it is it's a work situation, and much like I would think a coworker, I don't necessarily have expectations for them to believe in human rights, frankly. I would hope they do, but if they don't, I just would like to not know that about them and would like them to just zip it. So for me, she's zipping it, so I get it. But I don't think we need to come out and say embrace her. Like that's too far. That's too far to me. Emma Hayes has media availability right now. I don't know if somebody has the stream. You're welcome to like comment where to find it. I would just be refreshing Twitter if you want to see what she's saying. I have not seen Alex Morgan's post, but people here told me what she said. I'm worried about speed if Dunn, Haran, Coffey, and Nicewanger are on the field at the same time. Where are you worried about speed? Like, in what sense? Because I don't see where the specific issue would be there. Like, I guess what line? Let's see. Why no stop? I think that they feel good about the depth they already have at center back. That tells me that they feel very good about Tierna Davidson and Naomi Girma's health. Like, they feel very good about that. Surprised with Shaw making the 18 based on current club play? No, I mean, I'm surprised more because I really thought it was a choice between her and Lavelle at the 10. I don't like Shaw as a forward. I just don't. But I guess Emma Hayes is seeing, like, she sees different things than what we see. So, who are the alternates? Jane Campbell in goal, Hal Hirschfeld, Croy Bethune, and Lynn Williams. Lynn Williams is a pleasant surprise. And then just if y'all are joining here on TikTok, I'm also on YouTube as well. So hence the like kind of chaotic viewing thing here. I've never done this with two cameras, so bear with me. The YouTube folks are saying the stream is running smoother, so feel free to go there, but you can use whichever one is easier for you. It doesn't really matter in terms of supporting me in any way. How do you imagine Alex reacted to the news in person on the call? I think I have to imagine this has been an ongoing conversation. I don't think that a player like Alex Morgan, who was on every list on the bubble, like nobody is telling you she was a lock after the last camp in June. So, and she's a veteran, she's a professional. Like, I think somebody that Emma Hayes has a lot of respect for. So I have to imagine those conversations, while challenging, I think it was a very upfront process. I don't think this is a blindside for her. Especially because like she didn't make the roster back in February and really had a renaissance after Mia Fishel got injured. So, yeah, but I have to imagine this is hard. I just don't think you can take a veteran of that caliber as an alternate. I think that's a really hard ego challenge. Alternates aren't allowed on the bench, let alone the Olympic Village. Okay, so I've seen conflicting information on this. I know they're not allowed on the bench. That I felt pretty confident about. And I also felt confident they were allowed in the Olympic Village, but then other people have said they are. I don't really know. But what I know is that those players aren't going to see time. So, did it? Thank you for the rose. Sorry if I don't know how to say that one. Can I see Ellis Stevens getting called in as the 9 post-Olympics? I would like to see her get a look. If Mia Fishel hadn't been injured, do I think she would have made this roster? Yes. Yes, I do. Absolutely do. Not a close call for me. Oh, thank you for the heart puff, Jen. Appreciate you. Let's see. I hope Albert doesn't get to wear 5. I think 5 is her chosen number at this point. So, would I make Girma shadow Salma if we play Spain? No. I would play her backline pretty straight up. I would just not play. I would just probably not play Nicewanger forward. But that may be something that I start to analyze differently too, because sometimes it makes sense. I think she's a weak spot for us, but she could also be providing pressure that prevents them from getting up in the same way. So something for me to look at a little bit too. see. What do you think about the 16-year-old Lily Johannes? I love Lily Johannes. I still think she's ours. But I also think it doesn't make sense to bring her. So I said, I love her, but she's only played 20 minutes with this team. Like, you're not bringing her on the roster, and I don't think it's the appropriate use in an alternate spot either. Johanna said she couldn't commit to US or Dutch. I mean, she hasn't said that. Like, she's just saying the thing you're supposed to say, right? Because, like, you're 16. This US women's national team is so difficult to break into, and you can be part of it and, like, look like the new hot hand and then fall out of favor. Like, ask Savannah DeMello how she's doing. So if you're 16, you're able to potentially play for two different nations. Like, you don't commit to one or the other until you're actually in the position to commit. So. Okay, what's my thought on Alex Morgan? All caps. I think what this tells me is she wasn't picking up the new system. That's the reason this makes sense to me. So, on the roster, Sonnet is listed as defense, but do you think they're going to bring her up into midfield? I think I would have done a separate category for Dunn and Sonnet of utility. Like, they can both be there because they're both going to be able to play multiple things. Peter says YouTube is indeed smooth. So I'm not trying to pull viewers from TikTok. Like I said, this is the easiest one for me, and like consistently you're going to be able to find me on here probably the most because this was a whole new thing, but people are enjoying it over there as well. So check it out. TikTok is smooth. Okay, Rory says TikTok is smooth too, so take that, Peter. Let's see. Okay, about to try to take this line out of the card. Do it, Linz. Do it. Do alternates still get a medal? I do not know the answer to that. Somebody on here who's like a big fan of like Sam Mewis is going to tell us that, I feel like. Let's see. Sam Coffey was hurt. I don't think she was ever as hurt as she looked. I think that was mostly precautionary. So alternates do not get a medal, according to Sarah Cameron on the YouTube feed. So there you go. Hesa Macario didn't answer the first 2 phone calls of her making it. That's funny. She's like, shit, we can't get a hold of her. I guess we gotta call in Croy. So Sam Mewis should coach Wave. I'm excited to see Sam Mewis dabble in some more coaching stuff. I love Sam Mewis. Sam Mewis can do whatever she wants. And that'd be great. How do we do against France or England? Well, England's not going to be at the Olympics. That's the nice part. France, I think it's going to be challenging. France, I think is a hard matchup for us. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Lynn either. I was very surprised at that inclusion. Like, delighted but surprised. So I don't know what's up with her health wise. I'm not really sure what's going on. Why is England not at the Olympics? I thought they were like good. Great question. I can't tell if that's serious or if that was a bird, but yeah. So qualifying out of Europe is just very, very hard. There's only 4 spots, and France took one of them. Or sorry, 3 spots. Excuse me. There's only 3 spots this year, and France took one of them. So it was just a rough go. They did not make it to the semifinal on that. See, Emma confirmed in media that Lily said she's not ready to make a decision and she supports that. Oh, interesting. So they offered her the alternate and she said not ready. I did not. I'll be honest, I did not have that read on that. But I also think if it were me, and the question was, come be an alternate, but like you're committing to us. I don't know if I would do that. I might have for a roster spot, but she is also 16. And again, this is a hard national team program. And like, if you want to get cap tied at 16, like I have no real doubt she'll be able to make the Dutch national team and like play there and contribute. But the U.S. women's national team is just rough, man. It's really, really rough. So Hayes praised Alex's accomplishments and then said, I felt that I wanted to go in another direction and select other players when asked about Morgan. Yeah. I mean, like, she just was not, from what we saw, was not picking it up. So I don't think there's much else to say. Like, you don't want to say that out loud about a player, right? Like, that's not a super, as a coach, polite thing to say about a program veteran. I can say it because I'm just here. But that's the read I've got on that. What do you think about Alyssa Thompson being left off? I mean, I'm not surprised. I haven't seen her in a minute. I'm frankly surprised she's going to be one of the training players. Real Lily, she was in consideration, didn't specifically say she was offered anything. Okay, thank you, Crystal, for that clarification. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at that soundbite in particular, and then give you all my thoughts. I'm more sad for Charlie than Morgan. Dude, Charlie's got some loyal fans, but I'm sad for her too. I think she would have had a fun time at the Olympics. I think she would have done some good. It would have been some good social. What do you think about Christy Mewis? I think Christy Mewis is going to retire. She just hasn't told you yet. All right, Lindsay, I switched to YouTube and it's working nicely. About to drive. So another vote for YouTube, but you all can have that. Wherever y'all want to be. How do the alternate players work? The alternate players, they can be swapped in at any point before the first game. After the first game, it has to be a catastrophic injury such that the player is not going to be returning. So, and then they, I guess, kind of loosely travel like to be in the area in case something happens, but they're not. I really don't even think they're training at camp. I think they kind of just travel around. But I've seen some conflicting information on that. Do you think Carly Lloyd will still be a hater for this group? I don't know, man. I'm really curious to see what happens when she goes back to doing women's stuff, because like I've been watching her with Copa against my will, and like it's not even it's really interesting because like my husband and I are talking about it. He goes, well, I don't ever disagree with her. I'm like, yeah, but that's because she's not saying anything. Like without the kind of personal animus she has toward the U.S. women's national team and some of the players there, like she don't really have a lot to offer. Like there's not really a lot of like her takes on the U.S. men's national team. It's like, well, guess what? Anybody who's watched the sport for 2 minutes can tell you that. So I don't really know the deal. Do I think Press or Heath can come back soon? They are not coming back to the U.S. women's national team. They're not. No. And I appreciate Tobin being open about her health journey, and I've kind of long said on here that Tobin Heath has not retired or said that for 2 reasons. One is that she has not made peace with where she is at on her journey. If she's not telling you that, or 2, she's happy to get the clicks because y'all are curious. That second part's cynical, but she's got a media thing now, so I can be a little cynical, I think, in analyzing it. But in hearing her talk about it, I think it's clearly the former. Like I think she's got to keep going on her journey and make peace with where she ends up. But I don't see her coming back. So let's see. Thoughts on Casey Murphy? I think she's good. I like her aerial presence. I like her size. I think her positioning is pretty good. So I like her, but I mean, obviously this is Nair's show. Thoughts on Rodman's article? I think that could have been much better worded, frankly. I think we have to be really deliberate. And again, no matter what position you fall on Corbin Albert's inclusion in this, I think you have to be pretty deliberate in naming what she did. So I would have appreciated more if we were clearer on what the conduct was, and it's not just strong opinions. Like a strong opinion for me is that pineapple and pepperoni on pizza is awesome. Like that's a strong opinion, right? These are best season of Gilmore Girls, season 3, strong opinion. But that's not, when we're talking human rights issues, they're not opinions. So, but I also think she's new to getting media trained. Andy Sullivan, the Trinity Rodman articles in Vanity Fair. Andy Sullivan thoughts. Andy Sullivan, has had a good season with Washington Spirit, obviously. I think we'll be back in the mix. VJ, appreciate the rose. Thank you for that. So I think she'll be back in the mix. I really thought with the coffee injury, Andy Sullivan was the more likely to slot in the alternate spot because she has the experience. Like the Olympics is a rough stage. This is, and it's the U.S. Women's National Team. This is a hard thing to ask of somebody. So I think it makes sense sometimes to bring in people who have been there before. I think what we're seeing from the alternate spot is a mix, which is nice. Oh, thank you for the hi bear. LB07 Les, I think. I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm trying. Oh, and for the Tiny Danny, appreciate you. Think we can get gold? Hell yeah, I think we can get gold. This is the U.S. Women's National Team. Of course we can get gold. I get the feeling Trinity was coached to say that by U.S. Soccer. I do as well. Let's see. Off topic, where does Stoney go next? I think WSL. I think the Villa job would be really fun. I'd love to see her take the Villa job. Okay. Am I American? I am half. So I am Swedish American. So, and if Sweden were in the Olympics, this would be probably a different situation, but they're not this year. So let's see. Sorry, y'all. Somebody's at my door, so the pugs are going. Where can we see what Trin said? It's in the Vanity Fair article. I think if you just Google Vanity Fair and Trinity, you can see it. I also think like she was not. This is something I think you learn in media training, and that's why I say she's newer to it. You need to be pretty careful about using proper nouns when you're speaking if it's going to be sound bites, because when you use like pronouns and stuff as opposed to like actually saying who you're talking about, it can get really muddled. And you'll see in that soundbite it's a lot of they, and you can't really tell if she's referring to the fan base, if she's referring to teammates. Like you can't really tell who she's referring to in parts. So I think that muddied it and made it worse for her. Let's see. Christy Mewis, will she return to U.S. Women's National Team? No, I'm not even confident she's going to play again. Sorry, y'all. The pugs are going. Okay. Let's see. Arsenal? No. She's not coming to Arsenal. God, don't make me do that. Do you think if Vlatko was still the coach, Alex would have made the roster? Yeah, because I don't think Vlatko would have ever made any changes. So hey, but he's thriving in Kansas City. Shit's going well. And again, if you're new to this feed or that feed, so I'm streaming on both YouTube and TikTok. So that's why my face is doing this. So just FYI. Will the game times be better? Yes. So 6 a.m. is your earliest wake up on the West Coast. And if you're on the East Coast, if you're on the East Coast, I don't actually know how you're going to work because all the matches go, it's 3 time slots each day. So we're just knocking this bad boy out. So I straight up have my calendar blocked. I'm not appearing in court. I'm not taking any depositions. You will not call me. I will not, because there's too much to watch. I'm going to have multiple screens up. It's going to be a thing. So all the games are during work. It's so rude. I know they should really think about it. But then there's a couple weekend days of games too. So Walsh to Arsenal, real? Not at this point. I don't think so. Smart time to block up the calendar. Yep, do it now. Go block your calendars. So, does anything change depending on how send-off games go? No, this is locked in. This has been submitted to the Olympic Committee. So, if I could change one player, who would it be? And sorry, y'all, there's got to be somebody outside because everybody's going nuts. Hey, honey, hi. Okay, this is my foster pug Lucy, so she's adoptable. Hi. Yeah. Okay, go tell him. Okay, somebody asked, sorry, if I could change one player. I wouldn't change it. I really don't think I would. I'd love to see Croy Bethune on there, but I would have liked to see her in June. And since I didn't see her in June, I don't know if I'd change it. I think I'm good with it. Thoughts on the situation at United? Yeah, I'm going to do a longer video on that. I started yesterday. I'm so sorry about the barking, y'all. There's not really anything I can do about that, so I hope it's not anything you all can hear. Hopefully it's not that bad. Do I think we can beat Germany? Yes. Kelly O'Hara and Alex Morgan retirement game together. I think that'd be fun, but I don't think it'll happen. Okay. Do I think Sav Demella deserves a spot? I think she deserves another look, but I think there's just a lot of depth at that position. Are you ever taking her over Croy Bethune right now? I wouldn't even have that conversation. I think who do I think will be the top scorer? I think this is Sophia Smith's breakout, international breakout. I think she's going to really light it up. Lucy is 1.5 years old. Hello. She just arrived to me yesterday. So she's new, but she's a foster. And she has got a lot of personality, I will tell you. But she's bossing the boys around a little bit. So she's really sweet. But, yeah. Let's see. Thoughts on Kat Macario? I personally am not super convinced she's fully back to where she's been yet. But I think her set piece work is incredible. And I think for that reason alone, I would be good with keeping her in. And obviously Emma Hayes knows her and likes her. And she does have versatility. I do think, as others have commented, she could play the 9. So that's important. Hardest game in our group is probably Germany. I'm not really worried about our group at this point. I'm not. Australia, I'm going to have to watch some stuff in the run-up, but I don't think Australia is as good as they were last year. Germany is a hot mess, but they're capable of putting it together. Zambia has obviously some very talented attackers, and I think they'll probably give some scares, but I don't expect it to actually be a problem. So I'm just not that worried. And this is Root Beer. This is one of my permanent residents if you have not met him. Let's see. Will Kelly ever play for U.S. Women's National Team again? Absolutely not. No. How do the quarterfinal groupings work? So I believe it's basically the same as Gold Cup in February and March. So, the top 2 ranked first place finishers, so to speak, on points, will end up playing the 2 third place teams that come in. Let's see. What do I think if the final match is USA Spain? I like us in that one. I think Spain is not a terrible matchup for us in some ways. I think we'll be okay. Thoughts on Corbin making the roster? And Emma Hayes saying comments on wanting fans to accept her. I think that's too far. I think it was. I have no issue with her being on the roster. I understand other people who do. I think that's a valid viewpoint as well. I don't, because at this point she's shut her mouth and hasn't continued to espouse hate speech. So from that perspective, I think she's doing what she can do. I don't think fans have to accept her though. Absolutely not. And I think that's it's just pushing it too far, and it's not understanding your community. And I think that for a new coach to go out on a limb with this fan base like that was probably ill-advised. Let's see. Thoughts on U.S. Women's National Team dropping the FIFA ranking? I don't care about FIFA rankings. I just have never really paid attention to them that much. Let's see. Thoughts on Alex Morgan not making the roster? I thought she was going to squeak on it, but I do think ultimately if she wasn't picking up the new system, then it makes sense to not take a spot with her. Let's see. Any thoughts on Germany's selection? I will be honest, I have not dug into the other rosters quite as aggressively yet, just because I've been so focused on this one. But I will have to look at that. I hope Lawless and Lloyd are not on the broadcast. I don't think they will be because it's NBC, so I have to imagine they won't, but you never know. Let's see, Haran captain, I think probably to start. Thoughts on Ashley Sanchez? I think she deserves another look. Yeah, I think she will get another look after the Olympics. Thoughts on Hal and Croy making it in without any official caps? I was a little bit surprised, but it tells you a little bit about what they must have shown in camp and where folks feel like they are. Crystal Dunn as striker. I mean, I wouldn't put her as a 9, no, but she can continue to play out wide. That's fine. What do you think of Rose Lavelle right now? I think she's cooking. I think she looks good. Looks really good. Excited about it. Is O'Hara getting a retirement match? Probably not. I think send-off matches are over. And if we do them, this is the last time we're going to do them. So, okay, y'all. Listen, so I had said I'm going to stop because I want to go watch Euros. So I'm going to go watch that. Hopefully it's not as boring as yesterday's, second match slate. Thank you, Bramblewood, for the rose. I appreciate you. So anyway, I appreciate you all for hanging out with me. This was super fun. We will, of course, do more of these with the friendlies and with the Olympics, and really if other people just are requesting them. Where do you watch Euros? Fox, unfortunately. Root Beer will be getting more treats this NFL season. Go Birds. Yeah, he probably will. It'll probably be good for you, huh? Okay. All right, y'all. Thanks for hanging out with me. And if you got more questions, just you know where to find me here or on YouTube. I'm at Cases at the Case everywhere. And as usual, when we talk U.S. Women's National Team, let's fucking go. All right, ending over here now. This is so weird. Enjoy your 0-0 draw. Thanks for that. All right, thanks y'all for joining me on YouTube. I'll just end up over here a little bit longer. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscribe button because I'm trying to figure out how to make this one work too. Anyway, let's fucking go. See y'all later.